Yes, people, welcome back to the first XI. This is Grounded Football. We've got Rachel, myself, Kesh, and Jem. Firstly, we're going to talk about the top four race because it's really heating up now, and we're getting to the business end of the season. I think there's 5 games to play. Is that right? Is it 5? Maybe some teams 6.
Yeah.
Chelsea have just managed to squeeze into 4th. So I'll start with you, Jem. How do you see this? We'll have a bit of fun with it. How do you see the top 4 ending?
It's clutch for us. It's clutch games now because we've got Arsenal still to play, Leicester, someone else that's hard. So we've got Southampton in there as well. I mean, we've got some hard games from what I understand left. I'm still confident that we can do it. Like I said before, anything other than Chelsea getting in Champions League this season is a failure. I said this from the beginning of the season. It needs to happen. You can't spend that kind of money and finish outside the Champions League. That squad's good enough to be in the top 4. Whether it's 4th or 3rd, I don't really care. But yeah, man, Chelsea seem to turn up in. I'm not too worried about the schedule it's in itself because we seem to turn up in the bigger games at the moment. It's more of like, for example, like the West Broms. Do you know what I mean? Where we would just slip up and stuff like that. So I think I am confident we can get there. I really am. I worry for. I know Leicester they're doing well at the moment, but I just feel like they're still not as certain. If you know what I mean, I still think that they're.
Do you think Chelsea can get them?
I think we can catch them. I do. We've still got to play them as well. We've still got to play them out of our last 5 games. I know it's Arsenal, Leicester, and someone else, but we've got to play them anyway. So I can still see points to be won, and we owe him one anyway.
Brendan Rodgers, I think, either today or yesterday, was saying that they're still targeting 2nd, which I thought was that was an amazing thing to come out and say. Really, it's a great attitude to have. They're not settling for 3rd. They're going to keep pushing. He said, we've got 5 games left to play, but there's no reason why we can't get into 2nd. I think it'd be very interesting. But you does that mean you see Leicester finishing 4th? Or do you think they're going to drop out with 5 games to go?
No, I think Leicester will make it, but if they do, I think by the end of the season they'll be 4th. That's what I think. I think we'll catch them. But that's my opinion.
Fair enough. Rachel, how do you see the top 4 panning out?
I don't know Leicester's fixtures, but I know Chelsea have a really difficult run in. They might drop points there. They're I think Leicester are 4 points ahead of Chelsea at the moment. So it could. I don't think they'll drop to 4th, to be honest with you. I think they're doing quite well. So I think it will be. Well, I think it will stay as it is, to be honest with you. I don't think West Ham are going to go above Chelsea or anything. I'd like them to, but I don't think so. So I think it will stay exactly how it is, to be honest.
I think you made a very good point, actually. Chelsea's last 4 games are tough. And if they continue in the Champions League, it might take a bit out of them. We never know. You never know. But I think I've always had Chelsea making top 4. I've always had Chelsea making top 4. But we'll see. We'll see. I think it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to be as straightforward as people think it is. Either Chelsea or Leicester are going to drop off a little bit, in my opinion. Man United could drop points still. I think we're still finishing the top 4, but we're not going to lose every game.
No, you got Champions League, 100%. Well,
yeah. And you've got 5 points ahead of Leicester, so I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. Listen, people, please smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. That's really important. Everybody's socials and channels are in the description below. Make sure you go. Jem on GNA TV is trying to get to the 1,000 mark, so please get him over the 1K. Go and do that if you haven't subscribed already. RDS has his own YouTube channel as well, so go and check him out, Talking Man United. And Kesh is obviously on the Football Terrace, EGTV, and on this show, so make sure you go and follow him, because if he's on a show, it's always a great one to watch. Kesh, top 4. Let's hear your thoughts on it.
I don't think West Ham will make it. I think there'll be a few games where they'll probably drop a few points. But I think the likes of Chelsea and Liverpool, I think it's between both of them for the 4th spot. I do feel Leicester will finish a lot stronger than how they have done over the last two seasons, where they've fallen off at the last hurdle. I just feel like there's a bit of belief in them coming towards the end of the season. Between Liverpool and Chelsea, I think it will be a thing like last season where you just didn't know what team really wanted it. Like there's one week where one team's actually looked like they're setting an example and setting the standards, and another team's drop points, and then following season it's the opposite. It's that team that was looking like they're going to go for it, then lose, then the next one takes advantage of it. I think it will be a bit like that, and I think it will go to the last game. I think what you might find is somewhere or another, Liverpool will probably be leveled on points with Chelsea, and in the last two games, that's where it will be. Both teams will try and make themselves be counted for.
Kesh, the only thing I'd say to that is Liverpool are 4 points behind us. That means Chelsea have to drop points in the last 5 games. So
I agree, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not impossible. It's just a matter of. I'm not saying Liverpool ain't going to drop points.
Yeah.
They will drop points, but they might go on and win their next 2 games. Chelsea might draw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I think when it comes to
Chelsea's last 4 games, because I'm on my phone, so I can't look at
Yeah,
it.
it's Leicester, Arsenal, Southampton, and one other. I can't remember who the last one is. Oh no, there's 2 more. Villa. Yeah.
So
is it
I'd
4
say
more or 5 more?
I'm
5 more, that's right.
Those 4 are 2 for me. 2 wins, 2 losses. If I'm honest, because I think you've got too much to do.
Who got? Is that Man City?
Yeah.
Oh God, I forgot about them. Forgot about them.
But then again, though, I didn't realise Liverpool still got Man United, so that game could settle it. In all fairness.
Well, Kesh, I expect Liverpool to win that game because we've just had Leeds, we've then got Roma, then Liverpool, then Roma again, and if the result isn't great tomorrow night for Manchester United, then the focus can't be on the Liverpool game.
Yeah,
I keep saying this though. Yeah,
Liverpool are being united at Old Trafford. That's not happening. Liverpool are being united at Old Trafford.
They're hard fixtures for Chelsea. Don't get me wrong, but these are the fixtures that Chelsea ain't struggling in under Tuchel. Tuchel sets up well against these teams, so don't be surprised if Chelsea do draw maybe 1 or 2 of them and win the rest. That's what I'm going to say. It could happen. Like it could happen.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
You probably draw 2, but then I did say the last 2 games, either one of you or Liverpool will go on and show that you got the bottle to finish 4th.
Yeah. Okay. RDS, what's your thoughts on the top 4?
First before I go into it, I know we're going to speak about this later, but as a United fan, I am worried now. I'm with the certain results that happened tonight. I'm starting to panic, so I'm just going to put that out there. Like I'm genuinely starting to panic that certain things I'm going to have to deactivate Twitter for at least a year.
It's not the real treble. It's not the real treble.
It's whether it's City or Chelsea, it's just either or. Like it's just battling something. So like Mbappe, Neymar, the gods, Zidane, whatever, do something, please. Like regarding top 4, I don't think you can count out West Ham just yet. I don't think. I'm not saying that they will get it. I don't think they get it. I do think that it does go down how Chelsea are going to play it. Like those fixtures are difficult fixtures. And would you be surprised if, for example, Arsenal Football Club beat Chelsea?
No.
You know that is not what that type of team where they'll this season where they'll lose against Wolves or whatever 1-0, but you know that when Emil Smith-Rowe, Lacazette comes back who's fit, Pepe, they click, etc., they can score goals and score. So when I look at the thing about Chelsea's fixture, look at those fixtures. Yes, Chelsea could win and get points, but they could just as well lose those games. You look at the fixtures that West Ham and Liverpool have, and in theory they should win those games. The fact that Tuchel clearly makes or has made substitutions. So even even this Fulham game, I was speaking to Chelsea fan about it, and it was like, Fulham are fighting for their lives. if Tuchel this weekend is going to make subs, don't anticipate that Fulham game is going to be easy, for example. So, um,
Yeah.
I
True.
I don't know, like. I, I'm gonna say either one of West Ham or Liverpool might go in ahead over Chelsea.
Wow, you're having Chelsea not finishing the top four.
I think it's more his head than his heart with RDS. he said this for a while. To be fair,
I'm only saying it because when you look at the fixtures as well, like especially the teams that Liverpool and West Ham playing, these are teams that are like most of them are mid-table teams that are now on holiday. They don't have anything to play for. Like they're safe, they're fine. Like this, if
they're the games you want, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, Burnley thingy, Brighton, the Web or whatever, Newcastle, yeah, we're good, we're fine. We can. So those are the games you want to play. You don't want to play against teams that are fighting for relegation, i.e. Fulham, nor do you want to play against teams that are trying to compete for top four, solid teams like a City or Leicester. Those are teams that Chelsea are playing. So I think.
Yeah, but they've also been inconsistent, Liverpool, this season, RDS. They've lost games to people like Burnley and people like that. So
they have been, but like I said, it's a different story when you're at the end of the season. When you're playing Burnley at the beginning of the season, yeah, you're right. But then playing Burnley when Burnley have now secured how many points, they don't really give a crap.
Yeah.
When you know you need to secure top four, is a different kettle of fish. So I still think that you're probably going to have a Liverpool West Ham.
What is the goal difference? Chelsea's good in that.
Chelsea are 10 ahead of West Ham and 4 ahead of.
Could it be a possibility that it comes down to goal difference?
It could be.
It might be that tight, Kesh.
That's what it could be.
I certainly think that Chelsea Leicester game, because Chelsea have to play Leicester, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that possibly we're talking about deciding games. Sorry, that could possibly decide it as well. If Leicester beat Chelsea on that thing, then who knows?
Do you know what might happen with that RDS? Right, we might come to that Leicester game and only be a point behind them. That might happen because Leicester what is Leicester's fixtures? I don't even know.
That's not an easy run, Jem.
It isn't. But what I'm trying to say is Tuchel sets up well against the bigger teams. I don't know. I just feel like we'll turn up better against the harder teams than we do the weakest.
Last 3 games are difficult. They are difficult last 3 games.
I think Leicester beats Newcastle.
They'll beat Spurs.
They beat Spurs.
Ryan Mason. No, allow that. They'll beat Spurs.
No, you say that, but Spurs can easily beat them. Harry Kane just have to turn up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never know.
I don't know, man.
Points at really weird times anyway. They'll just have a random shock result against them. It happens quite a lot.
That ain't easy though. Is that Man United as well?
I think the thing with Leicester, the thing that I'm giving Leicester a bit of advantage
Leicester's got a tough one, haven't they?
Leicester are now having a consistent goal scorer. Kelechi Iheanacho, for example, is now coming into form and scoring key and important goals. And I don't generally see that with Chelsea more so. Like I don't see the consistent, the guy who's going to score. Like, I put the Champions League aside, just in the league. Do they have a consistent goal scorer that's scoring?
RDS, again, we don't concede goals then. That's the other thing as well, is you're not remembering we don't concede goals.
But then we're talking about draws then, not wins. And is that going to be good enough?
No, because Chelsea have been winning 1-0s. They don't. Yeah, you're right. We don't score goals, but we could easily score a goal and then just defend and win a game like that because we're solid enough for that.
No, I think Leicester and Chelsea in the league and the FA Cup win a game apiece. I think that's what's going to happen. It'll be probably Leicester in the league and Chelsea in the cup, or the other way around.
Could be.
I think it's too congested of top fixtures for them to just either one of them to go on a run.
There's so much to play for still, though, Indiana, isn't there? When you look at that, look at all the games that are still to be played. There's some really good games.
How they have the 15th? They've got the game on the 15th of May and the FA Cup final 15th of May.
That game's going to get rescheduled.
Yeah, they're going to reschedule it, obviously.
Probably midweek, I imagine. Yeah. They normally usually do the FA Cup on midweek, do they? Especially a final.
Still, you don't
do it on a weekend.
You don't want to play. If you're Leicester, you don't want to play Man United, then have a cup final, then play Spurs, then play Chelsea again. Like that's tough.
How many points?
What if you look at the table?
How many points are they ahead of Chelsea though?
Yeah, that's the thing.
4
How many
points.
points do you need?
4.
So they can afford to lose one.
I don't think they care about coming third or fourth. I think really, like, I know Brendan Rodgers said that he wants to try and catch United, but finishing top 4 is just the priority for them, really.
Yeah.
So if he can sacrifice one game and still make top 4 to get the FA Cup, I'm sure he'll try and do it.
I mean, I know we're not talking about them, but have you seen West Ham's run? It is fucking easy.
Yeah. So
Have a look at that. Like
that's
they
why I
might be the dark horses.
That's why I mentioned West Ham as well. I mean,
Look.
Wow.
aside
Yeah,
from
it's
not
right.
easy.
They could possibly win all 5 of those games.
Exactly,
They
and
have
then
a
they
few
would.
injuries,
And then they
though,
would.
don't they?
Kesh, if they do that, they'd get in the Champions League. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
If they do.
that's Chelsea out.
That's Chelsea. It could be Leicester. It could be any of us.
that's mad.
That's crazy. It's gonna
That's
heat up.
mad.
It's gonna
And
heat
it's
up.
not even like Everton is on that form there was at the start of the season. They're not a team that you'll be worried about like that.
Are Everton definitely
Being
out
West Ham.
Are Everton definitely out with their game in hand? Because I think they still have a game in hand, don't they?
No,
So if
Yeah,
they
well,
win that, their 56 would go above West Ham. So can you definitely?
no, they won't. They're
What's
55
their
points.
fixtures? What's their fixtures like?
Oh, this is mad.
there's still a lot to play for, aren't there?
Are we ruling out Tottenham as well?
Yeah,
Wait,
we're ruling out Tottenham.
Yeah, they're out.
I mean,
They got
Everton.
City last day of the season.
It's your last game of the season. Okay.
Oh, look at them games. So they're not.
I'm
They're
backing-
winnable
I'm
for
backing
Everton.
to win
They're
that game.
winnable for Everton as well.
Yeah.
Oh man, this could change. Liverpool could finish below Everton.
Again, Everton, they tend to just drop points for no reason. Like, you
Yeah.
expect them to win a game and then they will just go and lose.
But
That's
then
the
again,
problem.
they have been playing without Calvert-Lewin. I think he's coming back as well, probably at the right time.
Yeah, they need him for that last push. They need it. What are Liverpool's like? Liverpool's
Yeah.
fixed.
Liverpool, I think, have a decent run as well. I think West
Man
Brom,
United.
Yeah, they
United.
got a decent run. Just-
Yeah.
Southampton's a
just us,
win. West Brom's a loss.
really. Burnley's a lost
Burnley
double.
might do the double.
Burnley's a draw.
Palace is a win.
Palace is a win. Yeah.
So they
Last
got-
game's a win.
I think they have to get
3
something from the
wins.
United game to try.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I think it depends on this weekend.
United this over, I think.
If Man United beat Liverpool and Chelsea win, that's 7 points.
Yeah, that's
They're
over.
not catching us.
I don't know about that one. Let me just go to some of the comments because people have been putting comments in. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Yes, please do that. Charles says, big up everyone, big up. Leicester are secured, in my opinion. The last spot is between Liverpool and Chelsea. Mustafa says Leicester will finish in the top 4. Ravi says Giggs is his own stupid fault. We'll talk about that in a minute. Charlie, big up the panel. Big up the thumbnail girl as well, according to Aaron. Yeah, so on the EFL stream,
I saw
Aaron,
that.
the
That was
Doncaster
funny.
fan, couldn't remember your name, so he called you the thumbnail girl.
Well done, man. Love that.
Poch didn't get called out for his late subs from his twerking fan base. I wonder why. Poch had the Spurs crumble in his PSG team as well.
Wow.
Burnley and Defo doing the double over Liverpool as well. The games Liverpool have struggled with this season.
Yeah, that's true.
He learned from his mistakes. Big Sam would disagree with Jem. Is what it is. Let's let's quickly talk Champions League before we move on to the gigs situation. Thoughts when it comes to the Chelsea Real Madrid. I mean, this is grounded football, so we're not going to be blaming the weather. But one of the things I do want to talk about is Benzema and the importance of Real Madrid having him in that moment of magic. And I'll ask you first, Jem, obviously being a Chelsea
You were going
fan.
to say the importance of a striker. I was like, not this again.
Well,
No, I just think there's certain point that there's a point in that game for me that turned it into a game, because without Benzema in there, that's not a game. It wasn't really a game. And I know because I know hearing Jem in one of our group chats, he wasn't very happy about the goal being scored.
Yeah, they lost 3 headers.
It was something that I haven't seen a lot this season from Chelsea, and from corners, we've defended quite well from them. We're usually quite organised. We're quite dominant in the air, especially from the back. But yeah, it was a weak goal from our perspective to concede. I'm not taking away the world class finish from Benzema, because that's what a world class striker does. He only needs one little sniff and he'll put it in the back of the net. At the end of the day, the thing with that game for me, and this is why I still feel, I don't feel overly confident, but I feel good. I felt happy after, even with the 1-1 draw, is without Benzema, I don't really see where else they pose a threat against us. And I didn't really feel like, yeah, all right, Hazard come in, but he just doesn't. He wasn't there. He wasn't right. He
that
just
was
got
sad
back.
to watch, right?
He was quiet, wasn't he? He might as well not been on the pitch. Vinicius, who I thought was going to give us a torrid time down that wing, he was very quiet. And Tuchel's got a knack of knowing how to set up well. I've got to give it to him. And one of the things that he's done really well this season is, we've as fans we've always sort of moaned about his lineups and said, why is he playing, like, for example, we put Aspie wing back. We all know Aspie's not a wing back. Like, he can't run. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just not his thing. Especially when you're up against someone that's Vinicius. He was done, exactly. But for some weird reason, he somehow seems to always get it right, Tuchel, so far, and it's we kind of just stuck by it. But in terms of this game, if they come to Stamford Bridge and they set up with the same three at the back and they play the way they did, or try to play the way they did, we will beat them. I don't think they can play in that same system again against us at home. I thought Tony Kroos, Modric, and Casemiro looked leggy, very leggy on the ball. Every time Kante or Mount pressured them, didn't give them time on the ball, they were just hoofing it. And at the same time, their legs just looked done. They didn't seem to have they couldn't catch up with us, and I just feel like if we just can play our game, anything we lacked in that game was just the clinical edge, because we could have buried them in the first half. Let's be serious. Yeah. We could have had it quite comfortably. And before we'd even got to this game, we all sat here and said, look, Liverpool had chances at Anfield that they should have scored. Let's be serious, yeah? Mm-hmm. If Chelsea can do the same in the second leg, then cool. If we don't, we will get punished. Why? Because they've got players that know how to win. We don't. And they will only need one or two chances. And with Karim Benzema in their team, we can get punished. So we've got to be up for it, and we've got to take our chances. But I'll tell you now, if we do beat them and we get to the final, I keep begging that it was PSG. It looks like PSG may even go out now. But if we get PSG in the final, we'll beat them. I don't want Man City. I want PSG.
No, I hear that.
I see a lot of people saying they want Man City.
I don't want Man City. Kesh, I said even before we played Man City in the FA Cup, I said whoever wins that game, if we catch each other in the final of the Champions League, is gonna win. So we've beaten them in the FA Cup. Catching them in the Champions League, we'll lose. I don't want to say that sounds bad. It's just the way football is.
Gem. If Tuchel wins the Champions League and FA Cup double with City, what does that mean? What does that actually mean for Chelsea going forward? What does that mean?
For me,
the first half season, he wins the Champions League and FA Cup double.
For me, it's a great season. It's a better season than Man United, in my opinion. If you guys finish second and don't win the Europa League, and we win an FA Cup, say we win an FA Cup, we win the Champions League, and we finish fourth. Like that's a great season. We've gone from underachieving to actually achieving. Maybe not in the league. Don't get me wrong. In the league, we should be third, second, whatever. But just getting in the Champions League, I don't care. But winning 2 trophies, winning 2 doubles in half a season.
Well, and it's an interesting thing. Like, it's obviously if you do win, there's obviously the whole thing that like it then doesn't matter if you finish 5th or 6th even or whatever, because then the team that finishes 4th will get the Europa League spot. So there is that as well. So yeah,
there's still a lot for Chelsea to play for. That's the thing. There is still a lot. It can actually be an amazing season for us. One that we'd look back and go, wow. Like, a Champions League and FA Cup. All right,
everyone's got something to play for.
Can you? As I was going to say, can you honestly? Like, I just can't imagine Timo Werner lifting a Champions League. I just the thought of that in my mind is like, but of all the players, there's so many players in my mind that deserve to lift it up high. he's just not the one that comes up. No
Yeah,
disrespect.
well, do you know where it mucks up you rivals is when it comes to flop of the season. If we've won a double and we finish fourth, it's going to be hard to put Chelsea players in it.
No.
It is, I'm sorry.
Timo gets in
Yeah.
there no
It
matter
is.
what.
No, he's
Well, but
he's going in.
you know, you say that, right? Say he scores in the Champions League final and we win it. Then
If he
what?
does, then kudos to him. But I just can't see it happening.
If
There's
he
a reason
does-
why. There's a reason why Pulisic in the past. He said, "I'm going on my own." Like,
It's
you know what I
of
mean?
them losing you a final than winning you one, to be honest with you.
Honestly, I think. Listen, as I said, you lot played very well. You lot should have buried the game in the first
Yeah.
half. But I'm telling you, like, it won't be a easy game at Stamford Bridge. Like, hopefully, it's not Marcelo playing because, as we can see, Marcelo is actually finished. Like, he's not got no legs anymore.
There's very leggy Kesh.
He looked so out of place. And yes, I know there wasn't no cohesion in midfield, and there was getting overrun. Which, to be fair, you do expect that with the Tony Kroos and Modric and Casemiro in there. And it was such a weird system that Zidane was playing because at most times Casemiro was playing ahead of Modric and Kroos,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah, it's
didn't
weird.
understand at all.
No, Kesh, I
And
think the weird thing was Tony Kroos was dropping so deep.
playing deeper, that's
Back
what
three,
I'm saying.
and there was so much space in there. Chelsea, it didn't make sense. He was dropping deep when they were in possession.
That's
When they were
exactly
out
what
of
I'm
possession,
saying.
he was pressing
Because
high.
Casemiro was
weird.
playing almost as a number 10 when in possession of the ball.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. And the reason why I feel Chelsea had the advantage over them, they never had anyone that was going in between the lines and actually looking to receive the ball and recycle it. That's why a lot of times when they're playing the ball, they're trying to play the most difficult pass because there's no one in between the lines to receive it and get them further up the pitch. The system that Zidane played with the wing backs and the three centre backs, you can tell it's something that they was not comfortable with there. It wasn't. But I understood why he done it because he knew that Chelsea's gonna have the legs in midfield. But it didn't work the way he wanted it to work. You need the likes of Kroos and Modric to be a lot closer to each other to play those interchanging passes that can get them further up the pitch. At times, there was way too far. It's like Modric over playing as a right back, Kroos is playing as a left back.
Their defensive shape was poor as well.
Yeah, the strength was just crazy. Like, it didn't make any sense at all.
It didn't make any sense. They were playing a high line, and then they weren't compact. They weren't pressing. So all there was just space for Chelsea to just run through. Them. It was shocking. The first half.
Yeah.
But Rach, that's the problem, isn't it? You play to match an opposition's system and style. Yeah. The thing is, we've got players that are quick and they haven't. So once they've got the ball and we're in their faces, they haven't got time for on the ball. You're asking players to do things that they're not comfortable in just to try and adapt to the opposition, and it just doesn't work. You can't do that in football. You can't.
Yeah, too many managers do it though. They just switch to like a three at the back. If your team hasn't practiced it, then they're not going to be comfortable.
Yeah,
it happens too often.
Pep's done it over the last few years, hasn't he? Overthink it, trying to do something that is not what he does. Right? You know what I mean?
Obviously, I think that's what happened with Zidane. Do you think he just overthought it completely?
No,
I think was it due to having?
He wasn't comfortable with his
It was due to the injuries. Like they never had Ferdinand Mendy, who's been a main starter for them for the last year and a half. Ramos was missing as well. Even with the goal that Pulisic scored, like you can see that Nacho didn't want to cover. Like I think it was Rio Ferdinand said it. That's what a slow defender does. He wanted to get back on the line where he feels comfortable rather than going to Pulisic. I know a lot of people tried to blame Varane for that. I thought, hold on a second, what are you talking about? Varane actually done the right thing.
Yeah, Varane was covering Timo Werner as well. I know Timo Werner is not a clinical player, at least at the moment, but Varane did the right thing in terms of exactly. Varane did the right thing. It's not his
The thing with Timo Werner is, and I know he's mang on about him, whatever, it's his movement, and that's why Varane was watching him because at the end of the day, Varane's got pace and he can match Werner on his movement, and that's what it was. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, I think Timo's got to be up there in terms of goal line clearances this season. he has been shocking. I'm sorry, Jem. I know you love the guy, but his move. You can have all the moves in the world. Honestly, you could have like Justin Timberlake and Michael Jackson combined. But if you can't put the ball in the back of the net, it means
Well,
nothing.
that's the real
And
criticism of
if
him,
you're,
right? When you
but
think
you're,
about it, it's only
but
his goals. When you think about
You know
everything
what?
else,
yeah, but
right?
that's what you bought him for.
No, but I
That's
agree. But what I'm trying to say
that's
to
what I've got. That's why I'm on. I'm on
that's
his case.
that's where his huge criticism is because people thought he was a clinical striker, and he just isn't a clinical striker. Like we don't create enough chances in the game anyway.
Some of the best goal scorers weren't clinical either.
When he was at Leipzig, right, I'd love to see this, right? Even though he scored 32 goals, how many chances a game was he
He
getting?
misses
Because
a
at
lot.
Chelsea,
Yeah,
he
a
was
lot.
only getting 2 or
He
3.
missed a lot.
Like,
Dem,
do you know what I
Dem.
Yeah,
mean?
but this is what me and Kesh actually was saying it as well. When even before he'd signed it and he was coming into Chelsea, we were saying that he's not going to be the golden boot winner you Chelsea fans think he's going to be. It's just not.
So for him to get the goals that he scored last season, you need to create at least 5 or 6 chances a game for
It's
him.
not that, Gem. It's not that. In Germany, they play counter-attacking football, which means you're going to get a lot of chances. It's not even about creating. He's got pace. He's always going to be in behind the defensive line.
Do you remember your
if you
game
give,
against Chelsea against Liverpool, where the line was really high?
It worked for
And
him,
you
didn't
guys,
it?
that's what he's used to.
Yeah.
That's what they do
And
in
you
Germany.
got Pulisic who's there occupying occupying the centre backs, and he's just running into the space. That's it. That's how you got most of his
Yeah,
goals.
but Kesh, that doesn't explain the like I get the space argument. So, but some of the pushes like there's an element of like technique, like ball control.
That's what I was just getting onto.
Yeah. So I
For
got
me, his biggest problem is not that he's not scoring goals. His biggest problem for me, and last night kind of confirmed it for me, his technique is actually awful at striking a ball. Like when I'm watching him strike a ball, I'm looking, I'm thinking, I'm seeing a kid in the park who's not really playing much football. He's just out there, just having some fun with his friends.
But Kesh, is that a confidence thing, though? Because
No, that is not.
He's
That
dribbling
is
score as well. He's dribbling score as well.
If you look at the goals he scored last season, some of them goals are beauties. Like, I'm not lying. There were some good goals that he put in the goal. And I'm just like, why? How is he not
because he's got a lot
finishing in
of
a certain
time, though.
style?
He's got a lot of time in Germany. That's the thing, though. When you've got a lot of time, you then think about what you're doing. But when it comes to actually doing it off instinct, like ball comes at you, quick touch, snap, hit the back of the net. He hasn't got that in him.
I think he's void of confidence as well at the moment. Let's be honest. The amount of chances he's missed, like from close range, is a joke. He's probably just void of confidence.
But he's not hitting it with any conviction, Rachel. Like against Real Madrid, if he would just put his foot through it when it came at him, Courtois ain't stopping that. He decided to do this little slow pass into Courtois.
It literally went straight at the goalkeeper. He could have gone like into anywhere else apart from where he hit it, and he would have scored. It was crazy. He literally just passed it to Courtois. It's crazy.
You could see the difference in confidence with Pulisic, right? So Pulisic, he knows how much time he's got on the ball. He knows he's got time to take an extra touch to pick his moment. The goalkeeper's out the goal. Whereas Timo Werner, sometimes he'll snatch at it, and sometimes he'll wait too long. It's as if he hasn't got those instincts of knowing when to cut back or when to shoot or be instinctive enough. Like even a Raul Jimenez, and I wouldn't put Raul Jimenez up there as world class, but he will strike instinctively.
But sometimes that's better, Indiana, isn't it? That's the thing.
Never going to be that
because instinctively means that you're just doing it without thinking, and I think when he thinks it affects his chances.
The only good thing he's had going for him this season is, I know we say his dribbling ain't great, but because he's so fast, he kind of puts fear in defenders and he runs at them. But I think even though we're saying okay, maybe next season he can kick on, I think as much as you can say next season he might kick on, there's a chance that next season it might be even more difficult for him, because what you're going to find is managers will start saying, you know what, this guy, he thrives on space. Let's not give him too much space. Let's sit. Whatever side he's on, you just make sure you sit, be compact, and don't give him any space at all. Then it's gonna be down to Chelsea to ask, okay, there's no space for you. What else are you gonna bring? Are you gonna get on the ball, kind of knit a few passes together, and he got that in the locker. So I think he might have to start reinventing himself and finding different ways of impacting games.
Yeah, and he needs to improve on himself, which means he needs to train hard. I'm not, he needs to show us that he can, work on his weaknesses, and not just that. I think we struggle.
Let's-
I think we do struggle to actually
sorry to interrupt you, Jim.
set him up in many ways as well. Like he makes runs and he's forever tracking back. He does constantly,
Sorry to
and we
interrupt.
don't play to his strengths. Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, sorry to interrupt, Jim, just because I'm on your point. Like, to be fair to Werner, one of the other players that, from what I can see, hasn't lived up to that, which I'm assuming was brought in to do what you said for Timo Werner, in i.e. Kai Havertz, clearly hasn't lived up to expectations this season. You can make an argument that he was actually brought in, from what I understand, seeing the Chelsea fans, to do the very things you're saying to her, to create chances, to support the front three, etc.
I disagree, though.
Werner hasn't done that. So, is it all on Timo Werner? What about Kai? Why hasn't Kai been able to do what he's done this season?
The thing is,
Werner started a lot more than Kai, to be fair.
The thing is, though, Red Devil, I don't think a lot of people actually watch Kai. Yes, he came through as a number 10. And yes, he had some good games there, good performances here and there. But where he actually relished and played very well was when he went into that false 9 position. We look at he's got a very good movement. Like we look at him and we think, okay, he's a number 10. He's going to be creating. He's going to be this conventional player that gets on the ball, thread a pass through. That's not in his game.
So then
that is not in his game.
Now I guess the question is like why? Because this is my general thing with Chelsea's transfer policy. Like I guess we need to move on as well. Is that I don't. Okay, you bought Ziyech, you bought Pulisic, you bought Werner, you bought Havertz, bearing in mind what their strengths were, and also the style of play that you want to play. It doesn't make sense. Why buy him in the first place?
Because they had all the money. They was spoiled. they had all the money. Hazard's gone. They need to get their new golden boy in. And
we can rotate.
They just thought, listen, he's the next big thing, and he was the next big thing. He still is the next big thing. I still think he's got a very good future ahead of him.
Is the one, you know that. I'm not joking. But he's
Chelsea didn't need a Havertz, a Pulisic, and a Ziyech.
Yeah.
Kesh, I don't think they've got the best record of signing strikers, right?
No, we struggled. We struggled with strikers.
I mean, in terms of identifying strikers, Chelsea are terrible. They are definitely the worst in the top 6 at identifying a striker.
Joe, do you know what they do, Indiana? They go for the names with the ready-made strikers rather than actually going for someone that.
Yeah, but it's not even that, Jem. It's not even that. You can't be throwing that amount of money out on a name. That's just silly talk. It's not like you're Bayern Munich and you can get a Choupo-Moting in.
Yeah, but Indiana, when you're rich, you're rich, you spend money stupidly, didn't you? Because it does. Yeah.
Like you got to bear that in mind. They potentially might be in the Champions League final with that, so they'll just say, "Well, yeah, we spent tons of money."
When you would have been better off getting Danny Ings on a free.
The thing is, though, Indiana, I do get that logic, but then again, when you look at their record of if a player don't actually cut it, they make their money back.
Yeah, we do. That's true. Very true.
Yeah, listen. I know they can afford to buy duds. I'm just thinking, like, when I look at like Fernando Torres coming in, he'd already picked up that injury at Liverpool. He wasn't the same player then. They'd seen Falcao. They knew how Falcao was at Manchester United. Yet they went for him. I know he was only a loan. It was the whole Morata thing. The world knew Morata wouldn't fit Chelsea's system. Everyone knew that.
We done the same with Higuain as well. It's just a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle. It's just name grabbing.
It's just
but how many strikers? So in the top, we'll go for the top 6. How many of those teams have bought quality strikers in the last 10 years? We got United Van Persie.
Yeah.
We've got what?
City Aguero.
Liverpool Suarez.
City Aguero.
Yeah.
Chelsea Diego Costa as well.
Yeah, there's only one each then.
The thing
it's
is,
very difficult to get a top striker.
Arsenal,
not many top strikers around. My point is that I think there were better finishers they could have bought. It was like like Falcao was well past his best, right? He wasn't the player that he was. If you know about Falcao was he was quick over 10 yards, like lightning quick over 10 yards. He was a great finisher with both feet, not just
He
one.
was,
Head in the
Jem, can I
in
ask
the
you something?
box.
Unreal.
Jem,
yeah. Go on, bro.
would you have rather, like in hindsight, you spent what was it, 75 on Avars, yeah?
Yeah,
And was it 50? Was it 50 or 55 on Werner?
50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you put that all together, would you not have rather to have actually pushed for Harry Kane?
Yes.
Yeah, but I just don't think he would have gone last season anyway. I don't think that,
No,
especially
but
with
he didn't have a long term contract at that point, did he not?
yeah, but
When he
this is
was
the thing.
actually,
Levy will never sell to Chelsea. That's
I
just
think
a
he
rule.
would.
I
I
Like,
think he
disagree.
would.
I
I
don't think
think
he would.
I think it depends on the money. Listen, Harry
when was the
Kane's
last
got.
time that Levy sold to a rival though? I
No, he
can't
don't. That's it,
think.
No,
RDS. He
that's
don't. That's
because
my point.
that's not because he wouldn't insult a rival. That's because the rival's just not gonna pay the
He
money
may sell
that
to Man United or
a
Liverpool, but he won't
rival's
sell to
not gonna
Chelsea.
a rival's not gonna pay 150 mil for Harry Kane. But I'm saying, if you in hindsight, looking at the way Morata, yes, he scored not Morata, Werner scored a few goals, but he's not really lived up to the act that we thought he was going to. And Havertz, yes, he's a slow burner. He showed a bit of promise, but if you could have changed that and gone for Harry Kane and slotted in your team, would it have been much better for Chelsea moving forward? I think it would
Yes.
have.
Cash,
Wait.
all I'm going to say is if you can spend 50 mil on Timo Werner, you can spend 150 mil on Harry
But
Kane.
I'm not going to lie, Indiana. At the time, that was classed as a bargain. Like 50 million for Timo Werner at the time. At the time, when
It
you look at
wasn't
his
though.
record, yeah, but
It
he was
wasn't though,
because
Jem.
it was on stats because he was second highest goal scorer in Europe at that point. So when you're
Yeah, but
looking at it and what he was doing, people would say, "Oh
when I
wow,
watch
50
football,
million,
Jem,
Timo Werner."
when I watch football, I'm not looking at a web page looking at the stats as they come in. I'm watching football. I'm watching the game. So
Yeah, don't get me
stats
wrong.
don't really
I
mean
watched him
anything
That's
to
against
me.
most
Spurs.
people.
Before he came to Chelsea and he was at Leipzig, I watched him against Spurs and I thought, well, he looks all right. I'm not going to lie. I thought he looked quite decent. You
Yeah,
know,
but I watched him play, and I knew he was going to struggle in the beginning. I didn't know it was going to go on this long. I'll be honest, but I knew he was going to struggle in the beginning, coming into a team that faces a lot of low blocks, a lot of them, and a team that doesn't create as
much.
many chances
Yeah,
as he's going
yeah.
to need to score goals. I didn't. If I can see that, and other people have seen it. Why are Chelsea spending £50 million on him? This is the question I'm asking you. For what reason are they going out and buying these strikers that either do not fit your system or do not have it in them anymore? Morata didn't fit
Get
your
them before
system,
someone else does, though, innit? That's what it is. Get them
No, but
before
not
someone
just
else
that. I
does.
think I
but
think
no
it's
one
on the
else wanted him.
managers as
That's why they
I
got
think
Havertz. No one else wanted him. No one else
I
could have
think
No,
got
it's
but
him.
it's not
Liverpool.
wanting.
No.
It's
Hold
not
on.
wanting. Yeah,
Liverpool wanted Werner, and they wanted others. They just couldn't come up with the
we
money
couldn't.
for
Yeah,
it.
we just got them at the right
Exactly.
That's
time.
it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It wasn't like it was competition.
Yeah, but it wasn't. But then at the same time, Chelsea hadn't spent for nearly over a season anyway, so they were going to spend that
But
kind of
that's not
money.
an
And why not
excuse.
when you can get players that people ain't going to be
Jem,
able to
that's not
afford to
an
get
excuse. We haven't
through a
spent any
pandemic?
money, so let's just go and buy someone. That's not an
No, but
excuse.
we needed to Indiana before we bought. We got fourth with Tammy Abraham and Mason Mount making their
Yeah,
debuts in the Premier League, bruv. We
Yeah,
was always going to strengthen with Chelsea Football
there was
Club.
always
We're
going
not.
to strengthen.
Do you know what I mean? It's
but
our
I don't.
mold. It's our
Yeah, but
module.
is that strengthening?
Well, in
If you've
our eyes,
spent
yeah.
if you've spent £50 million on a striker who was not scoring you goals, is that strengthening?
But the board won't look at it like that. If we go to the end of the season winning Champions League and FA Cup, they won't care.
Yeah,
They'll think, well,
exactly.
fine,
Like
we've won
exactly.
things.
Yeah.
No,
That's
yeah, but this is all
That's
ifs
the
right
problem.
now. This is all ifs right now.
it is
If
ifs.
you
But
In the end, they're dangerous ifs. They're
yeah, they're
dangerous.
dangerous ifs at the
But you
moment.
have to remember, Indiana, it's hindsight, innit? It's hindsight.
They've
As
done
you
their job
said,
in their eyes, you know.
as
I
you
say
said,
you guys go and buy
I
used
didn't
old
think
them.
I knew he'd struggle, but I didn't think he would be this bad
Yeah.
in terms of not living
No
up
one
to
did.
his
I
act.
don't think we did as fans.
And
Chelsea didn't.
obviously, if it doesn't work out, they could easily make the 50 mil back
Of course
easily.
they would. Of course they would.
So it's not really
Yeah.
a problem, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
No, I think we all know Chelsea aren't going to struggle financially.
Mhm.
Let's move on to actually let's do a few comments first, and then we'll get into the last topic. Let's start with Laurie. Start with.
Thanks, Lambs.
Please don't say that. Please don't say that. Come
I
on.
actually see Chelsea winning the Champions League.
Yee.
Big up Uncle
Come on, you
Laurie.
blues.
Smash
Come
the
on.
like button, people. Yes, do that.
I don't think we will, by the way. Just saying. I still
Timo
don't think
has
we will.
pace.
Why
I
don't
think
you think
along
you'll
with
win the
Bamford,
Champions League?
Werner has
Man
most
City,
chances
that's
in the
why.
league this season.
You never know. It's a one-off game in the
Is that
final.
true?
You guys get there.
I don't even know whether that's true. Along with Bamford, he has the most chances in the league this season.
He has the most chances, and he has the most chances, created the most chances. Well, for
I
Chelsea,
think him along with Bamford, Werner has the most chances in the league this season. I don't know.
not well for Chelsea anyway. He has,
Have
yeah,
to look that up.
yeah.
Timo gets assist. He's shown that he's a bit
Yep.
of a creator, conversation
a little bit.
creator. All German teams play a high line as well, so it's tailor-made for a style
Yeah.
of play.
That's what
Exactly.
Kesh said.
Werner does beat tests on the pitch. He's not bothered about finishing. Rudiger's distribution was
Yeah,
good.
he's played
Yeah.
really well, you know. I've got to
He
say.
did play well. Strip Bear says, please, if possible, in your own time, if you haven't subscribed, consider that option. Don't want to miss excellent stream. Thank you, Strip Bear. Appreciate that. Not all players can make decisions quickly and can keep the ball when players try to tackle them. Some players are able to dive forward and run with the ball. Foden is quite good at that. Foden's a baller. I hate to say it,
Yeah.
but he is.
Yeah.
Instinctive strikers forwards, not the most clinical, i.e. Salah, Lacazette, Bamford, Cavani, etc. That's the difference between them and players like Kane,
That's true.
Louis,
Yeah,
Haaland, and
Lewandowski.
Benzema.
Yeah. There isn't many
Yeah.
clinical players out there, strikers.
I hope Bruno's a great game tomorrow. No wonder why Liverpool
Would have made
He would have.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have. Yeah. Good night, mate.
Good night, JB.
Just gonna look at profile of players they need at the time. They always go for the name, but not someone who they necessarily need at the time. Bakayoko instead of Fabinho. Yeah, but my point is, I don't think they're in a position to be doing that. Like, go out and buy the players you need for your system and dominate the league. Like, go and do that.
The thing is,
I think they did that 10 years ago.
They strengthened areas of when they bought all these players in the summer. They actually strengthened the areas that we actually, as fans, were stressing about. They actually did do it. They were the areas we wanted to be addressed.
I think
Big up
that's
Lambs
what
in the chat.
Yeah, big up
a
to
lot
Lambs.
of Chelsea fans that I've spoken to has
Big up
had
to
a bit
Lambs.
of a concern over the last, say, year
Big
when
up
it comes
Bell.
to Marina. Is her name Marina?
Yeah.
They praise her for always getting the deals done, but what they say is a lot of the recent deals have not been working out the way they expected it to be, and they think that she's not doing that good of a job in terms of getting the right players in.
Yeah, that's Chelsea fans who weren't complaining at the beginning of the season. So this is the thing. This is what it's just. It annoys me a bit, to be honest. Like, yeah, the players are flop, but is that her fault? She got the job done. That's her job. Forget the players.
Oh, yeah,
That are
no.
overplayed.
Every Chelsea fan wanted them in.
Do you know what I mean? Let's not
that's the
beat
way
around
it
the
is.
bush.
Let's get on to our last topic. If you haven't done so already, please like the stream, people. Subscribe to the channel. Get in the description as well. Make sure you go follow everybody on the socials and subscribe to their channels. Please do that. We need to get Gem over the 1K, so let's get that done. Ryan Giggs, Hall of Fame. I know you wanted to talk about this, Rachel. Do you want to explain what's happened with Ryan Giggs, or do you want to just dig into whether you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame or not?
Well, yeah, obviously he got snubbed for the nomination to be in the Hall of Fame. I understand the reasoning behind it, because obviously he's been charged with assault and was it coercion or whatever it was. For footballing reasons alone, he should be in it, but as a human being, he is absolute scum. I know he's our legend and that, but he really is a horrendous human being, isn't he? Ryan Giggs,
Yeah.
honestly, he's a horrible human being. I watched the interview with his brother. Actually, it was quite sad. Seems like a down to earth guy, but yeah, I'm not surprised that he was omitted from the nomination. To be honest with you.
Yeah. I think the issue.
I disagree with Rachel.
Yeah.
Is just, I actually don't think that he should have been in the Hall of Fame. Not even if you put the things aside. Like I mean, maybe it's just me as a United fan. So I'm not saying that Giggs, in a footballing sense, didn't contribute a lot to Manchester United. Clearly, the goals on Arsenal. But if you're telling me, in terms of specific achievements, who I thought that Manchester United would like the top of my list will always be Paul Scholes. It'll always be Paul Scholes in a
I said the same thing.
And then even when you just look at what we produced, obviously the likes of CR7 Ronaldo, with what he went on to be, and that season he scored.
I'm streaming. Oh, okay.
And then I would even put what was the other one? And even potentially someone like I know people I'm saying, but even like Wayne Rooney, in the fact that he's obviously the highest top scorer for Manchester United.
Yeah, so I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm saying other players that Manchester United that like have actually achieved specific. There's nothing that I think specifically that Giggs achieved Manchester United that I couldn't say that other Manchester United legends did at potentially a higher and more consistent level. Like I said, his antics off the field, which obviously are clearly wrong, aside.
Yeah, but RDS, do you not think it's the longevity side of things as well? The fact that he won so much in his space of time. He sort of outlasted most of the legends at Man United, didn't he? To be fair,
he came in before them, Jem.
Exactly. There you go. That's what I'm trying to say, Chad. Is it the longevity that's putting him there?
It's not like he got dropped for another
This is what I don't get about the Hall of Fame, Rachel. Like, what is it based upon? What are we basing it on? Does anyone know? Like, is it trophies? Is it longevity? Is it what they've done in a short space of time? Is it like, how do they work? What? Oh my God, what is this? Like saying this gummy bear Jem. Who's created this?
I'm sure it's ads.
I thought it was Prime originally. Obviously,
it might be because he's actually just turned up.
It's Prime, isn't it? Yeah, it's Prime. Barry. Yeah, well, look, with the Ryan Giggs thing, I think what he's done out of football is definitely, disgusting. But then people would argue why is John Terry in it as well then? Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
And
that's true.
And that's the issue. And John Terry will be in it. For me, John Terry's the greatest ever defender, in my eyes, greatest ever defender in Premier League. That's my opinion, but I might be biased. But
I agree with that.
If we're talking about from their professional aspects, he has to be in there. But if we're talking about the overall image,
this is the thing, isn't it,
along with it,
there are so many footballers that have had, they've done terrible things outside of football. So how do you judge them equally? Is it a recency thing? Because Ryan Giggs literally, what was it, a few days ago or last week, whatever it was. Is that the reason why he's been omitted? Because if that's the case, it doesn't make sense. Because John Terry's done terrible things. Wayne Rooney's done a few things as well. Like loads of players have. So how do they take out a player out of the Hall of Fame nominations, but then keep other players in who have done very similar things? That's what I think.
I think what Ryan Giggs and John Terry has done is definitely next level. I mean, you talk about professionalism. I don't think sleeping with Wayne Bridges' wife is a very professional thing to do as your captain. So John Terry's out for me, apart from the fact he's also a racist. I don't like the guy. And then you've got Ryan Giggs, one of my favourite players, if not the favourite when I was a young kid watching him. What he's done to his brother. This whole court thing, I know he's pleaded not guilty, and we shouldn't actually condemn anyone until they're proven guilty or not. But it takes the shine off Ryan Giggs for me completely.
Indiana, I mean, Cantona going over Giggs for the simple fact of kicking that Palace fan in the chest. That's that like that alone is like should be immortalized in like Premier League history.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't even think Cantona should be in it anyway. How long was he at Man United? It was only yes, he won things. He won what 2 or 3 titles, wasn't it, at Man United? But he
Yeah.
wasn't there long enough.
I
Why is
think what you've got to
Wayne
remember,
Rooney
Jem,
not in
Well,
it when he's
well,
won everything? That's what don't make
Yeah,
sense.
Wayne Rooney should be in it. For
It
sure.
doesn't make no sense.
This is saying, what is it? Is it based on because, like, for example,
I don't know.
Shearer is in the Hall of Fame because he's basically the all-time, presumably because he's the all-time Premier League goal scorer. So that's his specific thing. Henry, I'm assuming, is in the Hall of Fame because he was like the mainstay of the Invincibles and so on. And Phil Jones is there's a certain Hall of Fame he's part of. I'm not sure whether it's the Premier League one, but
It's the Hall of Fame, yeah, not the Hall. The Hall of Fame.
Prime.
I mean, this is just. I don't understand how he's still at the United Football Club. It's a testament to how Manchester United is run, where you've got a guy who's basically been injured for 2 years, and he's still getting paid 80 to 100 grand a week to do what?
85, I think he's on.
I'm sorry, that's disgusting.
I don't
But
understand.
here's the thing:
He's there for genetic testing. I've been saying it for months.
we obviously care about him, RDS, because we've just allowed Eric Bailly to sit next to him on the injury bench for another 4 years. So, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, my
main over with Bailly is at least when Bailly plays, you're like, okay, he's our best defender. Give him that. Phil Jones, even if he was to start tomorrow, you're like, I swear he's against us. I swear he's playing against us. That's Phil Jones. Like, he's playing for the opposition. He deliberately wants to concede. So it's like, even if he was to play, that he's a hired assassin. So what?
He's an imposter.
Do you know what it is with Phil Jones? I feel like if there's one player you want to put their life on the line for a game, it's Phil Jones, and he'll do that. He'll come up those amazing blocks. Like, he's great at blocking. He makes some great tackles.
With his weird face, yeah.
And then 30 seconds later, he'll cost you a goal.
Yeah, it's just
he'll get sent off.
He can't help it, can he?
He's
just in his blood.
He's a defensive Xhaka. Do you know what I mean? He's just like.
Just going back to
accident waiting to happen.
Going back to this Hall of Fame quickly, I don't understand who's voting. Who's in this Hall of Fame? Who's voting? It's fans.
Yeah,
I see Stan Collymore in this, but he hasn't won anything. It doesn't make any sense.
Stan Collymore.
Yeah, Stan Collymore's in the Hall of Fame, but he's never won anything in his career. I don't get it, man.
Matt Letizier's in there as well, isn't he?
It's weird. This is why I'm not interested. I'm not interested in it, Rachel. The Hall of Fame. It just doesn't make no sense. I'm sorry.
No, I hear that.
It's got to be specific. It would be easy if they were just like, listen, let's get some specific Premier League achievements, like top score of all time. Okay, fine. Shearer goes in. Maybe most clean sheets over a specific period of time. I don't know what else, Terry or whatever comes in. Like, there should be specific achievements.
Yeah, they could put in like the best midfielder or the best striker, the best defender, all that kind of stuff. That would make more sense, to be honest with you.
With certain stats to back it up.
Manager.
Yeah, I just think it's disgusting that out of every Man United player, Wayne Rooney's not in it. I just don't get it.
I think that there is a shout for Eric Cantona. If you think the sort of impact Bruno's had for Manchester United, amplify that and add titles to it. That's what Cantona was for Manchester United at the time.
Yeah, but
so
my
older fans will remember that.
Yeah, that's cool. I get that, Indiana, but you got to think, right? How many players you put in front of him? David Beckham, surely.
Jem, would you put Lampard in?
Oh yeah, I would throw Lampard
would go in for sure. Lampard and John Terry and Ashley Cole and Peter Cech. I think those four.
They're legends. They are.
Yeah, those four would have to go in.
You can't obviously have Lampard, Gerrard, and Scholes in the Premier League Hall of Fame, can you? That's the $1 million.
Gerrard shouldn't be in it. I just don't get why is he in it.
Really?
Because he's Gerrard, that's why he'll go.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not the point. It's like what I just said about Stan Collymore. It's because it's Stan Collymore. What gives it? It don't make no sense. He didn't win anything in the Premier League.
You know, he definitely shouldn't. He hasn't done anything. If it was a,
If we're talking about the
Europe,
Premier
it makes
League,
sense.
if we're talking about the Premier League Hall of Fame, why is Steven Gerrard in it? Let's be serious.
I'd have Roy Keane in there over Steven Gerrard.
But he's one thing. Of course you would.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
He was the captain. Like, of course he would. There isn't there?
I don't know, man. It's
It's
confusing.
just, it's basically favouritism, really.
Well, what is the cut-off point for the Hall of Fame?
It's
I
just
don't
people,
know.
fans voting.
No. What year is the cut-off point?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't actually know,
92,
Prime.
the Premier League era.
I think
Or no. I mean,
2021 Prime.
no. That's no. I mean, in terms of all right. For example, can David Silva get in, or does he have to have been retired first?
Yeah,
no, you're right. They have to be retired.
I think you
they
have
have
to be retired. You have to
players.
be
Alright,
retired.
so no Liverpool player can get in then.
Well, Liverpool, Steve Gerrard's retired, isn't he?
Gerrard shouldn't get in. If you don't win a Premier League, you're not a Premier League great.
Yeah, this is what I said. Yeah, that's what I've said.
He's
That makes sense.
there, I think.
Mm.
I know, but he shouldn't be in there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Agree.
It should only really be Chelsea, Man United, maybe Arsenal, and Man City players. Really, when you think about it.
Because like Vincent Kompany,
And Leicester, even Leicester can get in there.
Vincent Kompany should at least be an honourable mention somewhere. He's retired, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, he should be in there for sure.
so
No, definitely. Company.
from a Premier League point of view, as you're saying, because he's part of the city that's won multiple titles, etc. So
Like, I had this discussion with a Liverpool fan. They wanted Luis Suarez in there. And I said, why could you want Luis Suarez in there? What has he won? Yeah, but he had such a great season, 33. I went, but Harry Kane scores goals. Does he deserve to be in there? He hasn't won anything. What are we basing this on? It doesn't make any sense.
Cristiano Ronaldo goes in before all of those players.
Oh, yeah, of course he does.
Yeah, he does.
He's
he had that
undebatable.
season and won the Premier League. So
Hazard should be in there. Hazard should be in
We
there.
should. We should definitely. We are definitely going to do a stream on the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, let's do it.
Definitely going to do a Hall of Fame one.
Yeah. Our own Hall of Fame, yeah. Can we do? Can we also do the Full of Fame as well? The full.
I mean, that's going to be easy.
That'd be
I've got at least one or two United.
The Fall of Fame.
The Full
maybe
of
we'll
Fame.
do it on Friday for fraud.
The fraud one.
Yeah,
Oh,
Fraud of Fame.
we can put Gerrard in there.
Yeah, we can throw Phil Jones in there as well.
Let's do the Fraud of Fame. The Fraud of Fame on Friday. We'll do it.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Fraud of
New
Fame.
thumbnail incoming.
They have to be retired as well, or can they be active players?
We can put Fergie in there.
Retired. Let's do the retired ones.
Prime
Fraud
just
of
said
Fame.
Ban him. Ban
that's
him
good.
right now.
Yeah.
Rachel just kicked him. That's what happened.
Shouldn't-
No,
Fergie,
she didn't actually. I remember.
Jose, man. What's happened to your man Jose? Shout out to Jose Mourinho.
You know what? I said this about Jose start of the season. He's like, right now, he's like, your old senile grandfather, yeah? Sometimes he might say some things that are a bit out there because, he's outdated and he's not part of this modern generation. But every now and then, he might say some little sparks and words of wisdom that you should always listen. But he is old and he is. Just let him go out to pasture. But Spurs fans, they got what they wanted, and yet every manager, because it seems like right now, every manager is just leaving and switching clubs, and no one wants to go to Spurs. So,
Do you blame
I
him?
keep telling them, Prime. Frank
Do you blame him,
Lampard
Prime?
is free.
Exactly.
like in Germany, 4 or 5 managers have just left and switched clubs. Ten Hag is available, yes, maybe, but if Arteta gets sacked, he's going to Arsenal.
Yeah, he
You know
ain't
what's
got
really
Spurs.
funny about Ten Hag though? You want to have Spurs fans thinking that they're going to play this Ajax style of football.
Oh,
Bear in mind that their entire academy is
Don't
built
get me
around playing
started.
that style of football.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't get me started. And they got, and on top of that,
But-
Rachel, they've got Eric Dyer and Harry Winks to do that with as well. Yeah.
Man, like
Fans
that.
can get easily fooled though. As long as you play, as long as your football looks attractive, they'll forget everything else that's going on. So
I think. To be fair, Big Sam isn't going to be at West Brom for long. No, he's going to be in a job. Spurs are going to be vacant, and before you know it, experience. London, he's worked in London. Big Sam comes on.
RDS, they want pretty football. Go Graham Potter. There you go. Sort him out.
no. Why Graham Potter? But yet, when Rodgers was linked to a big club, everyone laughed.
Roger said no. to
Roger
Spurs.
said
Yeah,
no.
Roger
Yeah.
said no.
No, not Spurs to Arsenal. Arsenal are bigger than Spurs. If Arsenal don't want Rodgers,
I didn't understand why
Spurs don't
Arsenal fans look down on Brendan Rodgers. Where I never got that, to be honest.
yeah, but I'm proving the points. But apparently, according to Spurs fans, they're as big as United and Arsenal. So if that's the case, they shouldn't get Graham
I've
Potter.
never, to be fair, I've never heard a Spurs fan say that.
Yeah, but
They're
Neeks,
very
why
aware
would
of
he
how
want?
small they are.
Indiana.
Why would he want to?
Did you not hear? What was that not said 2 days ago in our group chat?
Yeah, something along those lines. I can't.
Basically,
I
it was
can't
like,
quote it completely.
would United take him? Would Arsenal take him? Would Chelsea take him? Would City take him? No, then I don't want him at Spurs.
I don't know, man.
It's
Who
not-
cares about Spurs?
They're not available. Fundamentally, they're not enough high quality managers even available anyway for anyone to come in. So
It's true.
The beggars can't be choosers unless I don't know. Is what's his name? Allegri still around?
They don't
People-
want to.
They
They
don't want
don't
to.
want a
They could just
manager
keep
that-
Ryan Mason.
They don't want
It's
a
fine.
manager. They don't want an experienced manager that will go and win them a trophy. They want a young manager that they can build a project with.
I don't know. I don't honestly think they know what they want, nor does the club. And that's how deluded and
No.
fucked up
Here's
they
the
are.
thing: the fans know what they want, but it's completely different from what the board.
Do they?
wants.
Because I spoke to a Spurs fan. that does.
Levy
Levy
wants
wants the Super League.
Levy wants to win a trophy, so he brought in Mourinho. But the Spurs fans don't want that. They just want to build again, and basically they want to bring back what they had with Poch.
Honestly, I think Spurs are in trouble. I really do.
I do as well.
But what's odd
To be
is
fair,
what
To be fair, if Pochettino bottles the Champions League and bottles League One, he might be free again, and maybe he might be a reunion with Spurs. You just don't know.
if he goes
To win nothing.
If he goes back,
Let's be real. He gets sacked. He gets sacked if he loses Champions League
If
and
he
bottles
goes
League
back to
One.
Spurs, it's going to be even worse. If he goes back to Spurs, it'll be even worse.
Will it? I don't
Yeah.
know. Will it be worse if he goes back?
Because if Kane leaves, he's not going to have a world-class striker to bail him out of games.
If Kane leaves, they finish. No, if he leaves, they're not finishing in the top 10. Mark my words.
No, they won't.
I'm being
They'll
honest.
Yeah, they're in
finish behind
trouble.
Arsenal.
Trust me. They'll go back to old Spurs.
They'll finish behind
They
Arsenal.
will.
Not the way everyone else is moving at the moment and spending money in the right areas and
If
stuff.
that's the case, some people
People will strengthen him.
I can't even say that.
It's true. Listen, we're going to wrap up.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. If you're watching this on the playback, remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, go in the description and follow everybody on their socials, and make sure you go and subscribe to their channels. Please do that. We are back tomorrow with the offside rule. So come and check that out. Tans is on as well. So it'll be Rachel, Tans, Lambs, Charlotte, Joyce, and obviously Yannicka hosting the show. So make sure you check that out, please. And they'll be talking about the Champions League, the top 4 race. They'll be talking about the Europa League results, whether Arsenal and Man United can get a win. Fergie, what's this? Fergie.
Oh, Prime. Honestly.
Prime, what is your problem with Fergie, man?
He's got a problem with everyone. He's got a problem with Verratti as well,
He's got
apparently.
his problem with his own club and he supports
Anyway,
it.
I've never insulted Verratti. Don't put that on me.
Listen, Barry.
I've never
Fair enough.
insulted Verratti.